this race, and Brian Butler. Has disappeared, and Brian Butler has caught him then as they turn them through Core. What, 3 or 4 car lengths now is all that are between the two leaders, the midget and the MGF, and perhaps the midget with a bit more power might be able to get away down the centre straight. We still that power coming to effect off the line, and yes, is extending that margin again as they complete the first lap of the 20 minutes, which you'd imagine it would be another 9-lapper. 1.5 seconds is the gap there between Egar and Butler. Third is Chris Greenbank. It's side by side, for 4th position, as Ian Witt is passed around the outside by Mike Peters. And that is for the lead within Class B. So the cars on treaded tyres there. Mike Peters going past Ian Witt round the outside into Ritchie's. 6th, a good start from Cole Green in the MGZS. He would have been disappointed for qualifying this morning, but he has gained 4 positions on lap 1 to end there in 6th position, just ahead of the Class A leader, Paul Wignall. So out of Palmer, let's look at that Class B battle. Peters ahead of Witt, and they've both got the Class C car and Cole Green behind. Meanwhile, in the pit lane, Mark?
Yeah, I'm afraid the problems continue for poor old Peter Bramble, who struggled in qualifying with the MGB Roadster, and again has already brought it into the pit lane in retirement.
Real disappointment for him. Dominic's done a lot of racing here at Snetterton in other things, and would have been one to watch, I think, in this grid, but car issues has put Peter Bramble out of the race already. And at the end of lap 1. So lap 2 is underway with his Keith Egar gap over Brian Butler, but Brian Butler keen also of course to win his category, and he's 2 seconds ahead of Chris Greenbank within Class F, so he will be very content with how that first lap of the race went. So he wouldn't expect to be able to go after the slick shod midget ahead of him. By the end of lap 1, he's now good for the taking to get past Mike Peters in that Class B leading MG midget. They turn down into Murray. They've got a couple of ZRs behind them in that battle. The Class A car of Ian Wignall and the Class B car of Mark Bellamy, another driver trying to make progress after, in his case, a slow start. So 2 laps done, 2.6 seconds is the gap between Egar and Butler. The 2 minutes 22.062 is the first flying lap for the leader. Chris Greenbank a little bit slower than Brian Butler, so that gap's gone up to 2.4 seconds. Mike Peters is 4th. He leads Class B by 3/4 of a second, exactly 0.750 over. Well, not about car in his class, though, is it? Cole Green, and they're in 5th place, so therefore he leads Class B by a bigger margin, nearly 2 seconds over Ian Witt. So it's Egar, Butler, Greenbank, Peters, Green and Witt lead top 6. And there was a change for 7th into Ritchie's because the more powerful ZR 170 of Mark Bellamy went past the 160 of Ian Wignall, who's been having this good run here at Snetterton in the Class A car. 9th overall is car 60, which is the the MDF, I should say, of Mark Wright, and then in 10th position is the Ian Wright MG Midget. So Wright's in 9th and 10th. Battle for 4th there, through Oggies, is Cole Green trying to get the better of Mike Peters. So the cars in different classes, but they're battling for 4th and 5th overall as they head on to the Bentley Straight. Has the ZS got the power? Not really. Good straight line speed for Mike Peters in the midget. Should be able to keep Cole Green at bay as they head into car continues to lead overall and within Class C. Car number 4. Darwin. Championship, Marky Donington Park took a 3rd place and a 5th place in the 2 races there overall. Leads here at Snetterton by 3.6 seconds over Brian Butler, who was ever so slightly quicker on the previous lap. Challenge for 3rd into Richie's, and Mike Peters, instead of being challenged by Cole Green, is attacking and trying to go around the outside of Chris Greenbank, and he has done it. I think the 2 low cars can't really see them particularly well as they exit Richie's from the commentary box, but I think Mike Peters has got the better of Chris Greenbank and gone into 3rd place, and now that leaves Greenbank at threat from Cole Green in the car in 5th place. Cole Green has just done the fastest lap of the race at 2 minutes 21.822, some 6.5 seconds quicker than he managed in qualifying this morning. So Cole Green getting used to the car still and getting used to this Snetterton circuit. He's flying here, and now he's going past Chris Greenbank too, down into the Agostini hairpin. He goes up the inside into the left-hander, and he goes through. So both Peters and Green have got past Greenbank, but the larger MGF takes a tighter line on the exit of the corner and gets back alongside and back ahead of Cole Green. So that pass didn't last very long, did it, for the MGZS driver? Greenbank back into P4. So that's all allowing Mike Peters to get away, and Peters chasing after Chris Greenbank. At the start of the, chasing after Brian Butler, I should say, at the start of the lap, that gap was 2 seconds, so that might be one to monitor. 6th position is Ian Witt, and he's now coming under pressure from Mark Bellamy in 7th. From Bellamy started 4th, dropped back, but is coming back through the order. He's actually lapping quicker than the overall leader. Egar and Butler, 1st and 2nd, are 2 of the slowest cars on the circuit. Strangely, lap 3 of the race. He's a good start, good in qualifying. He hasn't got near his qualifying pace yet, a couple of seconds away. Continues to lead at the end then of this 4th lap of the race. Yes, car number 4 completes this lap, and he's back over Brian Butler in 3.5 seconds, but catching them both at quite a rate is Mike Peters, the Class B car, just a second behind Brian Butler now, and he's lapping a full second quicker than the 2 leaders. So can we see a Class B car take an overall victory here? Mike Peters has got the pace to do so. Cole Green has got past Chris Greenbank now after that failed attempt at Agostini on the previous lap. So 3 seconds separate Peters and Green. So Green lost that amount of time trying to get the better of Chris Greenbank, which he eventually did. Ian Witt is 6th, 7th is Mark Bellamy, 8th is Paul Wignall, the Class A leader. 9th overall is Mark Wright, and 10th is Ian Wright, 11th is James Johnson, 12th is Steve Atkinson, and 13th is Phil Rigby, and they are the 13 runners in the race. But battle will be on shortly for 2nd position, because the MG F, or Brian Butler, is being caught and caught and caught by the MG Midget of Mike Peters. They head down into Oggies. He's not quite close enough to challenge, but I don't think it's going to be long before Mike Peters can put the pressure on. He's just done 2 laps consistently on 2 minutes 21.8, 8.4 on lap 3, and then 8.8 on lap 4, so and that is quicker than the 2 cars in front of him have done all race long. So Mike Peters pushing on, consistent pace too, and now he goes up the inside of Brian Butler into Russell, but Butler goes to the outside line in the end, but he's going to have to finish them out. Be a 9-lap race, and 8 minutes to go on the clock. and it is still the MG Midget of Chief Ego. Made this good gap on lap 1, importantly, to stay in front. And he's lapping consistently in the high 2 minutes 22. Back of a second down to Richie's holding each other up now. As Mike Peters wants to get ahead of Brian Butler and try to take after the overall leader. He's got 3 different classes, but an overall victory is something to challenge for, I'm sure. However, Mike Peters can't get the better of Brian Butler just yet. Cole Green not really chasing, being able to catch the cars in head, so he's still 3 seconds away from Mike Peters. In 5th place is Chris Greenbank, 6th with Ian Witt, who is catching Greenbank, so that's a battle to watch, 5th and 6th. In 7th position, Paul Wignall, I think, has just lost a place there, heading into Palmer. The 3rd corner of the lap, and he has, so Ian Wignall, the Class A car, has fallen behind car number 60, the MGZR of Mark Wright, the car that runs, sorry, the MGF of Mark Wright, I should say, the car that runs 3rd within Class F. And Mark Bellamy has dropped to 9th position at the beginning of the lap, and he may have gone missing altogether then. The car that started 4th on the grid and on pole within Class B has pulled off, I think, at the Wilson hairpin. Yeah, on the inside of the circuit there, so Bellamy, who's gone quicker than he went in qualifying, but he's further down the order, but much larger margin now as the battle for second continues, and the challenge for second has happened because Mike Peters has finally got ahead of Brian Butler, but he's now 5 seconds behind the overall leader with 3 laps to go, so that might be a stretch too far for Peters, but it's Midget first and second in the race now. Brian Butler's on the third, and number second, Cole Green once more. He's pushing all back 6 to the race. Cole Green is a new best lap of it. 2 minutes 21.078. He's 8 tenths quicker than anybody has done all race long. So Cole Green has a pace for a win this weekend. Poor qualifying this morning, but plenty of lap time speed, and now he would quite like to get past Brian Butler for 3rd overall as they head down towards the Agostini hairpin. So the MGF sees the MGZS in his left-hand mirror because Cole Green slots up the inside into the hairpin and goes through. So on the inside line into Agostini, Cole Green moves into 3rd place to get ahead of the Class F leader, Brian Butler. And that means the next car that Butler sees in his mirror is a class rival, is Chris Greenbank, who's 3 or so seconds behind him. But Greenbank is lapping quicker than Butler, so the quickest Class F car, the quickest MGF car is Chris Greenbank, car number 19, 2 minutes 22.5 on the previous lap. So Egar leads from Peters and Green now on lap 7 of the race. The leader keeping on times left through Brundle. Behind him, back in the Virgin. And Cole Green. Cole Green, and now he's challenging Mike Peters for 2nd position. His race will have 2 laps to go at the end of the 1. Head of the much bigger ZS, heads down into Murray's, the Class 3 car, heads across the car, so however, the fighter midget He's able to corner better through Murray, he can get the power down, he's got lots of grunt in that car, and therefore he's able to keep Cole Green at bay as they head down towards Ritchie's for the penultimate time. Meanwhile, Keith Eagles just done his personal best lap of the race. Still some 6/7 of a second away from Cole Green's best lap. This does mean he's 2 seconds out front now. By 6.4 seconds. After 7 laps over car number 6, the midget of Mike Peters, who leads Class B.